Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here with Cris Cawley. I didn't know till before we talked. We have like 1,000 mutual friends. We run in the same circles. So I'm super excited to get to know why you're so awesome and everything you do and everything you help you with or you help people with because you've been doing this for a long time. So I'm sure there's some tips and tricks you can share people who specifically have a podcast and they're trying to build an audience and then transition that into a monetizable method like high ticket coaching, high ticket offers, etc. So, Cris, for people who don't know who you are, can you explain real quick why you're awesome and what you do?
Awesome. Thanks for having me here today. I'm excited. So guys, I've been doing this. I've been in this online space since the year 2000, kind of a long time, creating digital courses, high ticket coaching programs for almost all of those years. I built a business, sold it, went away for a few years, went to brick and mortar land, and then quickly realized, what was I thinking? Working online and with my computer, my laptop, and a phone from anywhere, and that location independence that this business affords us was like the most amazing thing. And I was being a spoiled brat. I left the business thinking, I don't need to do internet marketing. I don't need to do online marketing anymore. I don't need to coach. And I missed it. So I came back, had been back for about 3 years. Love it. We're helping other entrepreneurs, experts, podcasters, authors, speakers create now, teaching people the process of how we were able to achieve almost 8 figures, just shy of 8 figures in our business the first time around, and through digital courses and high ticket coaching programs, and high ticket, different like high ticket events, things like that, but just high ticket programs. So it's fun. It's been a great thing. We've helped over about just over 155,000 entrepreneurs in 19 years. So learn this process. So it's cool. It's fun. It's a great thing to kind of watch the light bulbs come on and people able to monetize just from, sometimes from a podcast or a book, or if you're a TEDx speaker or that sort of thing. It's sometimes harder to monetize. People have some influence, but they're not actually making a ton of money. So we want to get people to 5 and even 6 figures per month through the programs and the process that we teach. So.
Gotcha. Would you say you kind of specialize more for people who already are doing coaching and they're just like, almost like you said, they're just selling very low ticket, like the Udemy model or courses, and they're just not charging their value, or for people who want to start from scratch?
That's a great question. So honestly, Jaxie, it's about half and half. So we get a lot of clients who have a coaching program, or they have a book, or they've done speeches, they've done speaking, or they have a podcast, or they've done some stuff and they're just not able to monetize it as well. Or maybe they have a Udemy course or a lower ticket. And a lot of that process is, especially if they're selling like $97 products or $37 lower end products, half of it is just getting them to believe that, hey, you can charge more and it works. A lot of people don't believe that if I charge more, people won't pay. I'm having a hard time, getting people to even pay $97 for this. They're getting people to pay $37. And the thing is, typically it's their messaging or their marketing or their target audience is off. There's usually some sort of disconnect in their process. So half of it is those people that have something, they're just not monetizing it or not monetizing it enough. And then the other half, really, truly split right down the middle, is people who maybe they're leaving corporate America, or they're working in a position like a health coach for a company or a yoga teacher, and they have some sort of expertise of some sort. Like basically they could take someone from amateur to expert, or they can produce an outcome or a result or a transformation for somebody, but they're not able to monetize it. So they're like, how do I monetize? So we help them create typically a digital course and a group coaching program, a high ticket group coaching program. And the digital course is something that it's kind of like a lower level product. I don't say lower level meaning $37. I mean like $1,000. And then the coaching program helps them really monetize and scale. And we teach them how to take it into group coaching just because of the leverage that you have, and you're able to leverage your time and that sort of thing and scale. But yeah, I think both of those things typically, because the buckets and the pillars of information, whether it be coaching or a course, are the same. You're teaching the same thing. The course is basically, hey, I'll do it on my own. The coaching is kind of done with you, that sort of thing. So we bring a lot of people into this world who have no idea, have never had a digital course, don't even fathom they could have a digital course, so they could be a coach or consultant and help them really monetize. Or maybe coaches from another company that are working for big name companies, but they're selling their products and not their own. So a lot of times those folks will find us and say, hey, help me create my own high ticket coaching program or my own digital course. So, and once someone's eyes, as you know, a lot of podcasters and, you know, speakers, authors, once someone's eyes have been open to this world and they monetize and they make $30,000 or $40,000, you know, off the bat, they're like, wow, it's like there's no turning back, right?
Yeah. So what do you think for people who kind of want to go this route, like you're saying, what are the biggest like expectations to set in mind and like commitments and like things that they probably wouldn't know that they have to kind of like specialize in or commit to actually like reach the, I would say the yellow brick road or the pot at the end of the road or something? Yeah.
Well, honestly, the big thing is just, there's the time commitment. I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge time commitment because you can go fast and you can say, hey, I'm going to spend 10 hours a week doing this and I'm going to knock it out in a month. Or you can go slow. You know, you can say, I only have 2 or 3 hours a month. Most people I find in today's world, it's instant gratification. Everybody wants it now. But at the same time, you have to take it through a process. You want to do it the right way. You don't want to put something out there that's not good. And then people go, oh yeah, that person has a course, but it's not that good, that sort of thing. I think that the biggest thing is just time, because it's a process. It's like anything. We can teach people our process. You can teach anybody, somebody who's experienced, somebody who's brand new. The biggest thing though, you know, you can't help somebody that comes, we get a lot of people that come and say, well, I have this product. It's not a product type business. It's a service. So you have to be able to provide a result. You have to be able, if you're like a service expert, you have to be able to help people get a result. You know, and we're helping them create a pathway. The pathway is the digital course or the coaching program, but you have to be able to say, you're right here, this is where you want to go. And if you follow my pathway, my course or my coaching, you're going to get this result. So there has to be a skill set that attaches to an outcome or a transformation or a result of some sort. So that, and then I think just being clear on the expectations of time. It doesn't take a ton of time, but honestly, we help people, we walk through it, people walk this process, walk through it and launch people in 4 to 6 weeks. The ones that are busy working full time, it takes more like 6 to 8. The people who are like gung ho, let's go, let's do it, it's more like 4 to 6 weeks. So I think just being cognizant of that up front, that yes, it is time. It's not a get rich quick. It's not just push a magic button. There's a system and a process and a method to it. But it produces, you know, better monetary results than any business that I know. You know, this online space we're in, I mean, I don't think there's ever been, and being in this in 19 years, there's never been more opportunity than there is now with all of the tools and resources and connections and people and influence. There's so many great things. And people can leverage their podcasts to do this, to monetize it. They've got somewhat of a following or they're building a following. This helps people monetize that following.
Awesome. What does your process look like? Just so I can get perspective as far, or like, how could someone kind of like emulate what you do? Even if it's like MVP style, like what are the main best practices you would recommend?
Sure. So our process is the same we do the same thing every single day, all day. Okay. There's 4 steps that we take. And step number 1 is lead gen. So obviously lead gen, every business, no matter what you do, if you're offline or off or online, you need leads. We have 2 ways to do that. We use paid traffic through Facebook. We also use organic traffic through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is unbelievable. We are blowing it out of the water using organic traffic methods. So a lot of times we will start somebody with LinkedIn because it's organic and doesn't cost money. And then as they get their first high ticket $10,000 sale or $8,000, $12,000, whatever it is, dollar sale, then we move them to paid traffic. So we take them from paid traffic to a webinar. And I know a lot of people believe.
Well, before we leave the lead gen,
yeah, sure.
Get to the webinar, I don't know, what is it about LinkedIn? I'm probably doing something wrong. To me, is it like, do you use like certain tools or like, I just haven't found like how to use it yet.
Well, there's a way to filter. So there's a couple things on LinkedIn, and we crush it on LinkedIn. So I hear people say, yeah, LinkedIn, I haven't had much success. And I'm like, that's like our most successful platform. I'll be honest with you. Facebook ads are great, but Facebook ads are wonky. Things change. The algorithm changes. Things are always, just when you get it figured out, like something changes and it wrecks the whole campaign, right? So LinkedIn, there's a couple tools we use. We use Sales Navigator. which is their tool that they provide. It's part of LinkedIn. But there's even some organic methods. You can actually search in the filter up top in the left-hand side where it says search. You can type in someone's name, and you can click on people, and then you can click on all filters, and you can filter and find people to connect to you that are very targeted. It's like you're to connect to your exact target market. I mean, down to that's the most targeted way to find people. And then we have a message that we send out. We have a follow-up message series that we send out, and we're connecting with people. A lot of people are teaching the automation stuff. So where instead of connecting with maybe, because it's time consuming, right? Instead of connecting with like 50 people manually, they'll say, let's use a service like meetleonard.com and connect automatically, use automation to connect me to the people and to send that initial message. And then when someone responds, a human being follows up and is like, hey, how's it going? And the point is to drive that person to a, whatever you want to call it, today's age, it's strategy session, discovery call, whatever it may be. And the goal of those calls is to kind of find out where they are, where they're looking to go, and if we have a process to get them there. So if my pathway, if my coaching can get them from expert, entrepreneur, from amateur to expert, or if I can help them, if they say, like, I'm a podcaster and I have a podcast and I'm getting a lot of downloads, but I don't make money. How do I monetize? Or I have a book that's doing great, but I'm not making money. How do I monetize it? So if I know that, hey, we can help this person and our program is the pathway that will help take them from where they are to where they want to go, we invite them to work with us. So it's an amazing process. We're closing about 1 in 3 of those people that we get on a discovery call at a $10,000 price point. So it's pretty amazing at how it works. And that's from zero ad spend. It's just a little bit of time and effort on the front end. So we've trained our VAs to do this. It's a very simple process. And then, of course, we take that money and we help scale it through Facebook ads, doing Facebook ads. But again, Facebook ads is like, I don't know if anybody's ever got it figured out, but it's a tougher world, So we use that. And then our downsell, Jaxie, is the digital course. So we always try to bring people through a coaching program simply because the 80-20 rule in life, people get better results with coaching than they do a course. The course is like, hey, I'll do it on my own. And the course ends up on their hard drive somewhere and they're not implementing, right? About 20% of the people will implement. That 80-20 rule is flipped on its back with coaching. We see like 80% of our clients getting results and 20% maybe not taking as much action or kind of taking longer, that sort of thing. So we drive the coaching, but it's nice to have a course because then it's like when you're talking with someone, maybe not everybody can afford group coaching or payments or whatever. So they have an option to do it by themselves and at least get the knowledge and the expertise and kind of learn it at their own pace. So that's why we use the course as kind of a downsell, if you will.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's why we recently did this challenge because 80% of the people who bought our course did not launch a podcast. I'm like, what the heck, guys? Like, why'd you buy this? It's funny. Like literally, everyone who kind of, who even like half the people in the challenge and a lot of people bought my course, they also bought Pat Flynn's course. I'm like, why are you buying my course then? Like you already have a course. So I completely agree with that. So I have a question. How would you say, because I think a big part of especially high ticket sales is like probably confidence and knowing that you can really, so how would you like recommend people to feel more self-confident in like their messaging and their platforms?
Well, I think our clients feel confident because we have a script that we've been using the same script. Actually, we have a short form script and a long form script. We've been using the same script for 19 years. So back in the year 2000, I was selling a $10,000 product, which like today is like a $50,000 product because nobody was selling $10,000, products back then. And we had a mastermind that was $10,000 and we had a couple different services and events. So I think that even for me, myself, when I was first learning this business and we grew to us being ourselves to having a team of 56 salespeople. And now we don't have that because I no longer wish to have the big fancy office and all the employees. I've been there, I've done that, and I don't aspire to that anymore. I like the freedom and the flexibility of being able to move around. However, I do have a small team of salespeople that help me with that. So if you're that scared or not confident, you can always hire someone to do it and pay them a commission basis. The average going rate's about 15 to 20%. That's what we pay our people. But the biggest thing I think for me, the fear factor was not knowing what to say. So I think having a script, we've used the same script. Our people use the same script for the past 19 years, and it works. And we have a short form script for certain products and services, and then we have a longer form script. And it really is about, it shouldn't be intimidating. It's a conversation. Where are they? And usually they're in some sort of pain. They're looking for a solution. They've got a problem. Where are they looking to go? And we want to know where they want to go, because I want to make sure that expectations are realistic and they're not saying, oh, I want to make $7 million in the next 3 months, and making sure that, and do I have a pathway? Do I have a process? Can I help this person? Can I get this person the outcome they're after? Can I get them the transformation? Can I get the result? Can I help them accomplish what they're looking to accomplish? And if we can, it's a great fit. And people sign up and on board, they're throwing money at you if you can solve their problem. But I do get it. It is intimidating. I was very intimidated by this in the beginning, but it's like anything. I was intimidated to speak in front of people, and then you do it a few times, you're like, it's not that big a deal. But I'd say find a script that fits you, that doesn't, you're not saying things. I think having integrity is big. I hear a lot of, I listen to a lot of discovery calls. I take part in things just to listen. I'm in a mastermind. I hear a lot of things, and a lot of the stuff's kind of cheesy. It's kind of pushy. I feel like it lacks integrity. I'm just going to say it, so our process is very much one of integrity, and it's just it's a basic conversation. You have to feel comfortable with that script, because if you're saying something, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this. That doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like you. So I think just finding a really basic script that works, follow somebody who's done it. Find yourself a mentor and find someone who's done it, and use that same script and with people. And I think people are scared of the biggest kind of, not mistake I see, but the biggest thing I see with our clients is they kind of get the person they're talking to tries to run the conversation. So you have to be kind of good at kind of guiding them back to the, you have to kind of drive the conversation. But you've got those questions there. You've got the information. The bottom line is, where are they? Where do they want to go? How are you going to help them get there? It's not pushy. It's not salesy. It's not. And I think if people take that approach, or are introduced to something like that, they're like, wow, this is refreshing. It's not like, we never push anything. We don't sell anything. We educate people on the value that we bring. And if you can communicate the value that you bring, people will come to you in droves.
Yeah. And I 100% agree with that. It's much easier once you're confident in your solution, and then also you're talking to the right person.
Yes, because being clear in your solution too, being 100% confident, but confidence comes from clarity. So you have to be clear on what you offer, and then you're confident, and then that equates to sales down the line.
Yeah, that should be a shirt. Confidence equals clarity. Yeah. And I would say, because knowing, I guess, targeting in the beginning is very important, because then you know it'll be the right fit. Otherwise, it'll just
messaging and your offer. You know what I mean? Sometimes people they're selling a $37 course on Udemy, and they're like, I can't even get people to pay $37. I'm like, well, it's usually
that type of buyer exists there. So
that is, and that's what they're going after. And those are not the people. I'm like, your value is so much more than that. You bring look what you're doing. What you're doing for people changes their lives. Why would you sell it for $37? So they're either, their message is off, their offer is off, or they're just they're hanging in the wrong sandbox, the wrong circles, or their target market is way off. So we help them streamline that entire process, and then go after, we kind of reverse engineer, what they do, who they're going after, their goals. And then we start with the end in mind and work through that with the offer, the message, the course, and then obviously coaching, group coaching, because they can leverage their time and work a few hours a week and create a very nice living for themselves.
Yeah, I'm all about group coaching. Awesome. Cool. So I just have some rapid fire questions here, if that's cool with you, just to get a little cool understanding about you. So firstly, who is your biggest mentor, and what's the number one thing they taught you?
Gosh, I've had a lot of mentors. I would have to say probably my first mentor, it's somebody that nobody knows, but his name was John. And it's so funny. I wanted to learn how to invest in real estate back in the day. And he brought me on and let me basically shadow him for free. I literally worked there like 2 days a week, just watching, following, learning, that sort of thing. And I've always been big also like on personal development. I know the stuff like Rich Dad, Poor Dad back in the day, just got smart business principles. Tony Robbins, obviously, anything that's like the positive. Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Work Week had a huge impact on my life. I read that book and I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding. Like it's just like ding, ding, ding. All the light bulbs went off for me. So I've had lots of mentors. And I feel like I've taken all those people's advice, a little piece here, a little piece there, a little piece here, and it kind of molds you into who you are. But personal development is huge. I think that's kind of what keeps us going as entrepreneurs. It's important.
Yeah. The 4-Hour Work Week was like, for that time, it was a crazy book.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So what's like the number one investment you ever made into a source of education or book or something, something that you learned? So
sure. A mastermind. Mastermind. I remember the first mastermind I invested in. And actually one of the very first masterminds I was ever in was Russell Brunson's. And it was like in like literally like 10, 12, 15 years ago. It's been a long time.
Wow. It was his?
It was Russell's. It was in a mansion in, I think, Henderson, Nevada, at some pirate type, you know what I mean? That was one of the first things that I ever attended where I was like, wow, there's all these A-level people. And it's funny, Russell spoke at one of my first internet marketing events back in the day. So like this,
well, that's amazing. Before ClickFunnels?
I remember ClickFunnels, the idea when it first came about, I think it was called ClickFusion. Like it was just an idea at a mastermind, you know what I mean? But the biggest impact that had on my life, because you pay a lot of money to belong to a mastermind, right? And while you think you're buying into a mentor, and you are, you're getting access to somebody who's been where you want to go. The biggest thing for me, the biggest impact, I made millions of dollars just from the joint ventures that came from the networking. The networking, you go to class all day, or you're in there and you're talking about things all day, and you're learning and you're sharing, and hey, what works in your business, what's not working, and then everybody's providing feedback. But at the nighttime when you're out to dinner and you're networking, the joint ventures that have come from those things have been, it's unfathomable to me how I'm like, wow, the impression that it had and the impact that it had on my life and my business and my income. So I think the networking, the masterminds and the networking, the mentor, yes, paying for access to someone who's been where you want to go. But the mastermind communities allow you to network with all these people who are on the same journey, and it's been hugely impactful on my life.
Yeah, I think masterminds is where you can find like your dream 100 too, because they're people who you need to partner with. So.
Easy, and you can buy their services, they buy your services. You partner together. You launch different launches and products and services. And it's been, that's probably, I think people that haven't done that or aren't in that space are kind of like, oh, okay, or they don't believe or don't realize. But once you do it and you're able to monetize in a big way, it's like, man, what was I waiting on? So yeah, that's hugely impactful. And even the events, you go to listen and learn, but I go to network. I go to meet people and to learn, and how can we serve one another? How can we collaborate? That's one of the biggest things that have helped my business grow to the level it has.
Yeah, it's funny, Ed. Did you go to Funnel Hacking Live?
This year I didn't, but I've been every year before this. So in Hawaii when they did it, I was like, oh. So my family was hard. So I've got to leave and go to a conference. They're like, what? We're on vacation.
Yeah, I think Hawaii is better. You made the right choice. But like, I probably only saw like 1 or 2 speakers every day. Like the rest of the time, I had meetings or I was talking to people in the lobby, because that's like, relationships last much longer than information, I feel like.
Yep, that's where it happens. And you can get the information and you can buy the video and you can get the notes from it, that sort of thing. Yeah. And they're great events. And that's a great event. But the networking is priceless. There's no replacing that. And so many new things and opportunities come from the networking,
Yeah. So my last question here before we wrap up is, what are you currently obsessed with? It could be like in the business world. It could be like just pretty much anything just that suits your personality type.
What am I obsessed with? Gosh, just honestly, massive growth. You know what I mean? I see so much opportunity in this day and age with all of I've met so many amazing entrepreneurs and we're launching things and we're growing, and it's just incredible to scale. But Dexy, I'm not after the same thing. Like I've had the big fancy glass tall office with a big, and all the employees. I've had all of that. And I don't ever aspire to that again. I don't ever want to build a company and have 100 employees again, ever. But I do aspire to growth. And I think it's like a personal challenge to see how far can we go? Can we get to 8 figures? Can we get to 9 figures? And still live the lifestyle that we live now? Because for me, I've learned, I'm in my mid-40s, I'm a mom, and I was all about the money in the beginning. But I learned as I got older, it really wasn't the money I was chasing. It was the time freedom and the location independence. So to be able to make it to 8 figures, but still live life on my terms and work when I want, where I want, with who I want, that to me is like, okay, I've made it. I'm successful. And that's a dream life. I don't want to go to work every day, 8 o'clock. I don't want to have a bunch of employees reporting to me. That's not fun. I did it. I made tons of money, but I was probably the unhappiest I've ever been. So having like big offices and all this stuff, I'm like, no thanks. I'd rather work from the beach with my computer and my laptop and my cell phone, you know what I mean? And still be able to scale and grow. And we do that through the ads, the traffic, webinars, discovery calls, and driving people to a group coaching program, because you can scale a group coaching program. And once you've recorded it or done it once, it literally takes like 3 hours of my life a week. It's nothing. I'm working 12 to 15 hours and I can scale. I can have 100 people in a group coaching program, and then we have like a live event once a year. So all of those sorts of things. So the masterminds are great because you're networking, your students become your peers because you've helped them achieve 6, 7, 8 figures. So now you're like in a peer group with people who are all successful and who are all on the same journey, which is awesome. So that's kind of my, it's like an obsession. Success is like an obsession. I'm like driven to a point to where it's like, it's a little crazy. I like have a lot of drive, you know what I mean? So that growth factor, like how fast can I grow, but maintain my awesome lifestyle? That's really what I'm after, and balance in my life,
That's what it's about. Yeah. It doesn't really matter if you're like being stress-free and doing what you want is like,
yes. Working when you want, where you want, with who you want. There's no better. I learned it the hard way. I was chasing money. And then I was like, oh, okay, money's awesome, but it's really not the money. It's the freedom that the money affords you, but you can have a high ticket program and have, bring in 10 new students a month and live a very, very, very nice lifestyle and not want for anything and still be able to travel and be with your kids and your family or your friends, whatever it may be. So that's kind of my, I guess it's always been my goal, but my goal just kind of shifted just a little bit after having the office of the employees and seeing how stressful that was. My goals just sort of realigned and kind of shifted just a bit. So, but it's fun. I love this business. I love the podcast. There's like all this new stuff. It used to be called a teleseminar, by the way, back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself, but now it's like the podcasting and there's so many opportunities, the TEDx and all these things, and speaking and masterminds and products and services. Just, we have all these tools at our disposal. It's like there's never been a better time to kind of go after it,
Yeah. And I've actually worked with some clients where they still record on the phone. I'm like, what are you doing? But cool. Thanks so much for coming on here. We'll have to have you on again in the future when you create new awesome products. We can talk about it. But for people who want to follow you, see what you do, what's the best place?
CrisCawley.com or digitalcoursesrockstar.com. So Cris Cawley without an H, just CrisCawley.com, or digitalcoursesrockstar.com, which was our initial product and segue back into the market, where we teach people to do, create and profit from digital courses and coaching programs. So
awesome. You guys can follow her on Instagram too, Facebook. Cool. Thanks so much for doing this, Cris.
Awesome.
We're going to wrap up. If you guys are on the replay, give me #replay. Yep. Thank you. We're to end
awesome. You bet, Jaxie.